Hello, everyone. My name is Don, the movie reviewer, and today we are going to be talking about Three Billboards in Ebbing, Missouri. This movie is directed by Martin McDonagh, and Martin McDonagh directed two interesting movies. One, which was a film that I actually enjoy called Seven Psychopaths. It's a great movie. It's got some good, rich characters in there. It's got a ridiculous plot, but I was immersed in the atmosphere of that movie. It's a great movie. Please check out Seven Psychopaths if you haven't already. Then another movie that was recommended to me by my friends, In Bruges. In Bruges is a movie that is a quirky comedy that has some crime thriller elements thrown into it. And I'm not too fond of In Bruges. I know a lot of people like that movie. My friends who recommended it to me liked it, and that's why they recommended it to me. But I really didn't care for that movie. So this director, you can tell that he has a particular style that he uses with each film that he directs. And, looking at his past films, one I don't like, which is In Bruges, and one that I do enjoy called Seven Psychopaths. With Three Billboards, is it good, or is it bad, or is it in between? Let's find out.
What's the law on what you can and cannot say on a billboard? I assume you can't say nothing defamatory and you can't say fuck, piss, or cunt. That right?
Or anus?
I think I'll be all right then.
I guess you're Angela Hayes' mother.
That's right. I'm Angela Hayes' mother. My daughter Angela was murdered 7 months ago. It seems to me the police department is too busy torturing black folks to solve actual crime.
The hell is this?
I don't think those billboards is very fair.
The time it took you to get out here whining like a bitch, Willoughby. Some other poor girl's probably out there being butchered right now.
And as sad as the spectacle of these billboards might be, this reporter, for one, hopes this finally puts an end to the strange saga of the three billboards outside.
This doesn't put an end to shit, you fucking retard. This is just a fucking start. Why don't you put that on your Good Morning Missouri fucking wake-up broadcast, bitch?
Mildred is upset with the Ebbing, Missouri Police Department. She takes it upon herself using three billboards to advertise the fact that Sheriff Willoughby has not found her daughter's killer. Mildred, played by Frances McDonald, is a woman who is on a mission. She's determined to find out who the culprit is that killed her daughter. Caleb Landry Jones plays Red Willoughby, who is the owner of the three billboards that Mildred wants to advertise the fact that why hasn't the police department in Ebbing, Missouri captured the culprit who murdered her daughter. This guy is a person who is just out for his own self and for his own business. His character really didn't get flushed out. It's just like played straightforward, where he's just a person who is seeking money, but then he's pressured by the police department to take the billboards down. And there's no in between with his character. Like, does he feel guilty for putting the billboards up? Does he feel justified by it? It's just played out with, he just wants money, but then at the same time, he's getting harassed by the police. So where does he stand on this whole thing? There's really no middle ground with him. There's no telling where he stands in this whole entire situation. Dixon, played by Sam Rockwell, who is the deputy to Sheriff Willoughby, played by Woody Harrelson, is a guy who came off like Dewey from the Scream movies.
Deputy Dewey oozed with inexperience.
He wants to be taken seriously by his comrades and by the public. And he's a guy who listens to his mother, and his mother easily influences him to do things, sometimes selfish things, against his own judgment. He's caught in between good and bad. He wants to do the right thing, but he's always doing dumb stuff because the influences that surround him and the way they project their assumptions of him. And he just projects what people assume of him, and he's just the way he is. But he does try to find redemption within himself and proving himself to Mildred and to the community at the fact that, yeah, I'm not just this doofus guy. I am a person who is deeply concerned about the well-being of everyone around me. Willoughby, played by Woody Harrelson, is the sheriff of the Ebbing, Missouri Police Department, and his character is going through a crisis of his own while trying to deal with Mildred and her 3 billboards. He feels that the billboards that she created is mocking the police department and himself, and he doesn't feel that that is very fair. As the story progresses, we learn something about him that doesn't have anything to do with the main narrative of the story. And so when they mention what's wrong with Willoughby, I felt it kind of veered off into the left field where it's like, okay, this has nothing to do with the main narrative, so why are we focusing on this? And then once they mention it some more, it does lead to a conclusion with his character, but it doesn't really mesh well with the rest of the story. It's like it's just thrown in there, I guess, to feel sympathy for his character. And I did feel sympathy for his character. But then at the same time, I'm confused as about what does this have to do with the main narrative of the story. And I'm guessing, okay, that all of this coming together is just about learning who these individual people are in dealing with a crisis and how their differences may separate them. But in the end, they're all out for the same thing. And so they should come together instead of letting one little thing separate them and drifting them apart. I don't know. I have no idea what the focus of this movie is. Frances McDormand plays Mildred, and the last time I saw her was in the Fargo movie. I'm pretty sure she's been in some other stuff, but I don't really pay attention to what she's doing. But she's great in this movie. Her character is believable. She's a hard ass. She's a person who doesn't take any shit from anybody. There's a few scenes of her in here where she's doing some pretty obscene stuff. And I like the fact that the movie hands out consequences for her actions. And with a lot of characters in here, there are consequences to the actions that the characters put forth on other people. Caleb Landry Jones plays Red Willoughby. I've seen this guy numerous times this year, and he's good as always. This guy's a really good actor. I like him in this movie. He's just an advertising guy who wants money, and something happens to him in the middle portion of this movie where I felt bad for him, and that's it. Sam Rockwell plays Dixon, and I like his character. I like Sam Rockwell. Sam Rockwell's a great actor. Like I said, Dixon character came off as like Deputy Dewey from the Scream movies. Not as doofy or as goofy as Dewey from the Scream movies. But he has that mindset where it's like, yeah, he's doing a lot of dumb stuff and people don't take him seriously, but he wants to be taken seriously, but then his mother's influencing him on things that he should do. And so against his best judgment, he does these things that he shouldn't be doing, but he knows within himself and his heart that he shouldn't be doing these things, but he does them. And so I felt a lot of humanity with his character, especially towards the end, where it's like, you know, things come around where it's like, yeah, I felt for him personally. Woody Harrelson plays Willoughby, and Woody Harrelson, he's one of the greatest actors working in Hollywood today. Everything that Woody Harrelson is in, he crushes it, and in this, there's no exceptions. Every scene with him is phenomenal. He's a great actor. They should have given him more to do. I don't think he was in the movie that long, and it's just, I don't know, he does some stuff here, and there's some stuff with him personally, but then by the end of it all, I'm just like, who cares? Oh man, Three Billboards. It seems to me that the narrative of this movie is like all over the place. Cause one minute we're focusing on Mildred and her daughter, and I'm like, that's the most interesting part of the movie. I mean, that's the main narrative, I guess. But then we learn about Willoughby and his situation, and I'm like, okay, we're dealing with that. And then we deal with Dixon and his situation. I'm like, okay, and I'm cool with that. And then we got Mildred dealing with some other stuff besides her daughter, and all of these different narratives are just thrown in here, and there's no main focus. It's all over the place. And I was accepting it at first, but then when I reached the end of the movie, it just ends, and I'm like, okay, like, will you make a sequel to this, or am I like, I didn't feel anything by the end of this movie, and so I was just like, what was the point of all this? I mean, yeah, I felt the emotion with these characters and them dealing with their own situations, but I have no idea. I'm confused. Overall, I will give Three Billboards in Ebbing, Missouri a B minus. I'll give it a B minus because at the beginning I was into it, and there's this other stuff that comes in that I felt didn't need to be there. The only person who I felt had a complete arc in here was the Dixon character, played by Sam Rockwell. He was great. And so, and the Mildred, there's no real conclusion with her either. I mean, it's like she has a main focus, but then it veers off into like, oh, here's this other thing. And I'm like, okay. And then there's this other thing and this other thing. There's just too many things. There's too many narratives. And there's no main focus, I don't think. And so I was disappointed. It's not something I'd watch again. It's fine, but it's just really, the movie's all over the place, I think. Like, I was really hoping for something like Gone Girl meets a comedy, you know? Something like that. Like, it's Gone Girl, but it's not too serious. It's kind of funny. And I didn't really get that. I got something that was just like, everywhere, you know? And I'm like, all right, I guess. And by the end of it, I was really mad because there's no real conclusion to this. It's like, oh, you're going to make part 2 or something? Because there's no conclusion to this movie, which really makes me mad. I just watched all of that nonsense for nothing. And some people were interesting, but then by the end of it, it's just like, boom, it's over. And I'm like, okay, that's it. Waste of my time. So as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.